hate me now, but I'm going to fix that because got to make it right because it didn't start out that way. And that's important that we do that. So, much of our dialogue has been about self, looking at self, taking a look at our interactions, trying to develop some level of understanding more about ourselves than the other person, right? So the first one on here, the chapter that came before this was really good too. You see how it ended when you pointed your finger at me and said I was immature, I got defensive. We talked about language and how to respond to something in a non-offending manner, to let somebody know that they said something to you that affected you, learning how to respond appropriately. Well, this was a response that was given. The preceding paragraph talked about there was some dialogue between the two, and one of the things he said, I felt like you were judging me, so I got defensive. And instead of saying that, it suggests that you say when you pointed your finger at me and said I was immature, I got defensive. So what did you do? You just identified your own stuff because you felt, you know, you thought I was immature. So what is the issue that you have with maturity? How many times have you heard somebody said you were immature? What does it feel like when somebody tells you you're immature? I mean, I'm a grown man, right? What you trying to say? I ain't no kid. I didn't say you were. And why are you internalizing it that way? So I'm going to find that. We'll speak to that maybe I'll bring it next month. So number 5 talks about change your complaints into action requests. Probably the most crucial area for action talk is telling your partner what is bothering you about the relationship. Would y'all agree that that's difficult sometimes to tell your partner?
Sometimes.
It depends. For the most part, we don't.
But there are some things that you might have a difficult time talking about.
Oh, you know what? Breaking up. I remember, yeah, that can be difficult.
Yeah.
I broke up.
Yeah, that's difficult. Why is that so difficult? Why is talking about breaking up so difficult? I don't look around. We asked you the question first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
It was difficult because it ended well. I was just going through a rough time financially, and I didn't want to be a burden on the relationship. Like, I wanted to see her happy. Not to say she wasn't, but I just had to get myself together. And I just had to tell her, you know, I didn't cheat her on her, nothing, you know. I just need to tell her where I was coming from and what I was dealing with.
How long did it take you to get to the point of telling her?
A couple of weeks.
Why so long?
I guess I wasn't. I know for myself I had to end it, but I didn't want to end it at the same time. So I guess it was like fighting with myself, sort of.
Why did you feel the need to end it? You entered into it, you were in the same condition.
Not really.
Not really? You weren't in the same condition?
When things started, no.
Well, what?
Well, I went from like driving the car to being septified, being on the bus, so that kind of hurt my manhood a lot, you know. But there's other things too, you know, like the fact of the job. I think I wasn't happy with my job and stuff, like the money I was making, you know, things of that nature.
Was that an issue for her?
No, it was for me though. Because I knew eventually it was affecting me, you know, mentally, so I knew that would come out in a relationship, you know. So, I mean, we still friends, you know.
But what was her view on you wanting to part ways from the relationship?
Oh, she was sad. She was crying.
And how did you feel about that? How did you feel about the fact that you were in this relationship and some things had changed within your life and you came to the conclusion that you needed to leave her and that would make her have a more fulfilling life?
No, it wouldn't be a fulfilling. You mean for her?
Yeah, you wanted her to be happy. You didn't think that she was going to be happy because you become septified, whatever. That's a new one. I'm gonna use that. Anybody here septified?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like, I know eventually how things is going to become for me, like my mindset, you know, I'm old. Like, I probably eventually will, you know, push her away, you know, and she didn't deserve that, you know. Just I was doing interpersonal things such as that nature.
Okay. You didn't think maybe you could look towards her for that strength, so she can kind of help things along?
I guess I'm so used to doing things on my own, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Coming from, you know, what I need to do internally.
I'm a man. I need to.
Exactly.
Oh man, Brother Seville is funny.
But we have to look at that because a lot of times we make decisions based on the fact that I'm a man. I don't, you know, listen, I can't, I'm on septic. I used to roll the car with you. So now you can't afford a transpass and tokens and we can go and bus together. That's good quality bonding time. You have, listen, you have a lot of sites on septic. We can have a great time riding the bus down. Listen.
They ain't trying to all hear that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
That's what you used to driving. Like, I was used to
Yeah.
driving, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But she did, but the thing is, was her attraction to you the fact that you were driving and the
No.
fact that you drove a certain kind of car and that you had a certain job and those things?
Not necessarily, no.
Not necessarily. So you never found out.
Well, no. I'm sorry. No, the answer is no.
Oh. So she was interested in you.
Yeah. But we was friends for a long time before that, so, you know, but...
So that divorce shouldn't even matter then.
Yeah. But I had, like I said, I had to get myself together, because I know me, you know.
Okay.
And I don't want to be a burden in a relationship, like, oh, you know, you be so beat, now you're just a lame, you know, you're boring, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Things can get to you mentally, you know.
I understand.
Anybody else had to have that discussion about breaking up and find it difficult?
Women call you scrubs and stuff like that.
I never called a scrub.
Little sidebar.
I mean, that's what. I mean, I'm 40, so I don't know what they call it now, but
No, I mean, that's
back
still
in the
around.
day, they
That's
used
still
to call
popular.
you scrubs.
They do. That's still popular.
You were scrubs.
Because you stepping off?
No, because you downgraded, like
Oh,
your
yeah.
status downgraded.
Oh, okay.
Supposedly.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly.
Oh,
And
okay.
if a woman is of a certain prestige,
Yeah.
you know, they're not gonna want to roll with you.
He was
Help me out here.
like,
That's the bro. There's no resolution.
It's so funny because I'm thinking
Like, say,
personally, and I'm
she ain't
like,
dead, but
I'm actually dating someone.
it's the other way around. She broke up.
So she got somebody
she
stepping
died.
by.
So, and maybe we got pregnant.
I mean,
Probably the
right,
what was
right,
trying to
right,
get my
so
status
right.
up, too.
yeah, you know what I mean?
But
I can kind of see that. I mean, I think some of that might be age, because I think the older you get, the more you assume that, well, if I come to the table with this, he should come to the table with this,
Is it?
where I'm
Yeah.
at. But it depends, because I know there's a lot of younger women who are perfectly fine with it just because they understand as long as he's not making it seem like that's where he's going to stay, then it's fine, because, you know, they're both trying to advance together.
right, right. And in my case, it was a matter of I had potential. My very first wife would tell you, I said, when you met me, I was a bum.
Wow.
Let's call it what it was. I had a job, but I didn't have anything. So I was a bum. I was living with somebody else. I had a job. I was DJing, and I was selling drugs. I was a bum.
Oh.
He said, oh.
I was serious. Listen, I was a straight bum.
What could I
But
say?
you know what she said to me?
She said,
She said, well, I saw potential. And I was also an artist, a graphic artist. So I was doing a lot of design work, logo design. I worked with local entertainment in Philadelphia doing public relations and promotions. We had a production company and everything. So she saw all those things. But I was a straight bum. I was a nut. I'm just, you know, but she said, but I saw something in you. I knew that you could do better. And I knew that you would. But I had to stop doing some things before I got to that point, and when I did, I had to go. So, you know, women tend to see things in us, you know, that they know we are capable of doing, but for a variety of reasons, we keep ourselves from doing it. Because much of what you were talking about, and much of what you alluded to in terms of, you know, you need to, if not, it's no sense in. But then there's a lot of women out there who have it, who are willing to take care of you.
Where do you do that at?
Well, I guess
Well, they do it.
I guess a lot
Well, I
of
mean, I'm seriously, I'm asking questions, I'm really being serious.
but I think the thing of it is you have to look at where you're at. You have to look at the environments that you're in.
No, I've been around.
You know, I spend a lot of time in professional environments. So a lot of the environments that I'm in, I was always networking with professional people. If that's what you're looking for, then you should be in those venues. Or you should be talking about your fruit in the supermarket.
You gotta bring something to the table, right? You just gotta be creative, boy.
Say again?
I'm professional, be making some business for 20.
No.
No, it's not? No. Okay.
Think like that.
It's the first time I heard that.
What's wrong? Networking is not a matter of mixing business and pleasure. When you're networking, it has to have some kind of benefit to your continuous.
You got to
No, not if we're at a networking function. Yeah, I'm talking about going to
Most
networking.
people don't network for business purposes.
Oh, well, no, I do. I don't have time.
Wow.
I don't have time for the other stuff. If I was single, then it's something different. If I'm single and I'm at a networking function, like an after-hour, thing, or after-work thing, and those kinds of functions, but I was always in professional environments, even with the entertainment. So I was always in professional environments, whereas those are the kind of people that I was most likely to get in hooked up with. So, I wasn't always in the bar and always in the club. I DJ'd, I was in the booth. When I came out of the booth, I rolled. But it depends on the lifestyle. And then you have to look at who you are. You're going to attract who you are.
Which is actually why I was going to say, I think it's pretty mature to be able to acknowledge what you can't offer a person. Because I do think women are almost socialized to be accommodating to men. To the point that even if a man is not ready, she'll still believe in him and lean and give and give and give to the point where she's giving everything, and then we turn around and say, well, why did you stay with that man anyway? If he was a good woman, you would have set some standards, you would have set some boundaries. So to be able to say as a man, you know what, I could take from you, I could just take and take and take, but instead I'm going to back off because I know I'm not in a place to return that favor, I think that speaks volumes. Because a lot of people wouldn't do that.
That's actually currently the situation that I'm in now. At my job, I'm a security guard. It's for a foster care agency. So, like, I work with the girl, but I don't work with her because I'm outside and at the security desk, and they're inside. So we just see each other. But she, has been, probably about the last 2 months, talking to me like no other person, no other female at the job pays me any attention. I'm just like, oh, that's the security guard. But she actually paid attention, so I'm thinking, is she just being nice? Is she being friendly? So the other day, she, we was talking, and she's like, slide me your phone number, I called her, kind of blew me for a loop. So, I'm talking to her, and I'm telling her, like, I don't want to come off as, like, pathetic, but I'm like, look, I just moved back home with my mom, like, all my money go to my daughter, like, I really don't have anything to offer you, but yet she's still showing interest in me, and I'm kind of, like, nervous because the type of dude that I am, I believe that a man is supposed to provide for his woman. There's nothing wrong with her paying, or taking care of me, but I want to be the one providing for her. That's what I saw from my parents and my grandparents. I seen the man taking care of the woman. I didn't really see the woman. I seen her do things for the man, but I never seen her take care of the man. So I'm actually in that current situation right now. Like, before the even break up stage, I'm just like, wow, I really do like her, like I really do, like she got a lot going for her, but at the same time I'm like, I know where I am in my mental state. I really don't have much to offer her, even on the mental level, because I'm still stuck in my own situation that I'm in. Like that, I just,
Well, she's probably got a plan for an inside job. But here's what you want to look at. Look at what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
And that's actually in this as well. You have to look at what you're telling yourself about you. Because the other piece to that is you're always striving. As long as you're striving to improve, you know, that's what you have to start looking at. Quality of the time is very significant. You say you don't have nothing to offer, but you're a person.
Mhm.
You're a human being. And at the end of the day, that's what you're still going to be. So quality time and just sitting in front of the TV at 50 plus, you know, just sitting in front of the TV is cool. It's because, you know, we don't have to go run the street. We don't have to go do the club and things. Because when you'll find the companionship is most significant at my age. You know, so a lot of people just enjoy dialogue. And I hear a lot of women say it. Some of these dudes you can't even have a decent conversation with.
Oh no, that's what she told me, because I did have to ask her. I said, you know, I'm like, what attracted you to me? Like, I'm curious, and the fact that, you know, I read a book within a week. You know, it takes me about, because I read it at work mainly, so I'll read like a 500-page book in like a week. So, you know, every day, every week, it's like, what are you reading now? What are you reading now? So she said, the fact that I read so much, you know, that intrigued her, and that wanted her to get to know me more.
That's good content for a conversation. Y'all can talk about anything. She can ask you things. See, it goes beyond just, can you take me to the movie? Can we sit down and talk about worldly things?
Yeah, that's another thing too, because out of all the women I've ever dealt with, she literally talks. Like, she'll ask me questions instead of just me having to ask her questions.
Yeah.
You know, listen for the right thing. And, all right, I got to ask her this question that's going to have her talk for 20 minutes, and then listen to that and ask her another question. No, she literally asks me questions where I feel like the female in the conversation, where I spend the majority of the conversation talking. I'm like, wow. Like,
Why do you feel like a female?
I don't know. It's just from the conversation, from my conditioning. When I talk to, you know, females throughout my lifetime, they are the ones that talk during most of the conversation. Like 70% of the time, they're talking about whatever. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know, oh, well, what about this? All right, all right, get out of here. All right, for real, all right. Her is like, we literally speak. That's why I'm nervous, because I really like her, but I have my own eternal problems that I keep telling myself that
Is it possible you could just try to be a friend?
Well, that's where we are right now. It's, you know.
And just stay on that route and just be like, look, we can be friends. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if it's a good relationship, and I guess since I've already thrown my business out there, you know, the relationship I'm in now, we started as friends, and it was like, no, it ain't gonna be none of that. It's just we're friends. We're friends. And it was straight up like, even if there is an attraction, we actively work to not go there until we could consciously make the decision that we were ready to deal with the repercussions of that.
Okay.
So, I mean, if it sounds like it's good, and if it is a good match, she should be able to respect that and prepare for it. And she would receive that, okay, he's not ready. I'm going to take that. I'm going to believe him when he says that, so I don't mess it up for both of us. Okay. And I don't let him mess me up.
Yeah, and you really, and that's something you probably want to practice, because this may be the one. It may be the one. So when you have that $26 because you're going to work the overtime, and you decide you want to go ahead and catch that early matinee, just go just to have fun and chill. There's nothing to it. It's just somebody just going with me, hanging out to the movie. We can talk about anything, because we're going to have some good conversation after the movie. So you want to start looking at, and look at where your other relationships were. You didn't talk that much in other relationships. You weren't asked a damn thing in other relationships. So you have to look at.
It's funny on that.
Well,
you want to
We're keeping it real.
But those are the things you have to start looking at. Because I can tell you from my own experience, where I'm at today, and the relationship that I'm in, I didn't think I would be in this relationship. I didn't think I would be in any relationship. Because where I was, as far as me being damaged, I didn't want no parts of nothing. Nothing. I just didn't. You know, I was going to go back to the single life and just live my life out, because of the hurt and pain that I had endured for almost 18 years. You know, but she came along. We had we had great dialogue. There's a lot of things we had in common, a lot of things that I always wanted to do with a partner that we do. We do the outdoor stuff. She likes fishing, she likes camping, we smoke cigars, you know, we like some of the same sitcoms, you know, we're into some of the same games, you know. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. But I stopped looking. And that's the difference. I stopped looking. And, you know, things happen. So, you know, you just kind of go with the flow. Yeah, I told y'all, I've been there for a couple of years, but just recently really moved in it because of my own hurts and having to, you know, let my guard down and take the risk. And sometimes it's hard, man. And sometimes we'll talk ourselves out of something good because of where we at with ourselves instead of letting the friendship and stuff develop, you know, and turn into something that's real and lasting. You have to have better.
Oh yeah, the part which I think you said something about when your partner sees the maturity in your development and can accept it can go somewhere, but also it cannot go somewhere. I think that's got on-off switch. Because a lot of times when you are talking to these ladies and men talking to men, if they can identify that in you and you can identify that in them, then I think that therefore something can develop. But if the person cannot stay on that same wavelength, then you know there's certain things that's just not tapped into yet. So you can't really take something anywhere until y'all both get on that same even playing field. Do we understand what we're getting into here? And my theory is intelligence over emotions. Sometimes you got to use your intelligence before you use your emotions. Because if you don't, you will bring yourself into the pain. You will bring yourself into that affliction that you basically put upon yourself because you put yourself into that person. And they can't do the same things that you expected them to do because you already gave yourself to them. And now you're crushed.
But it seems to me that's where communication comes in, and what you said about intelligence, being able to adjust. So if you consciously said, I want a friendship, and she, for example, was like, well, I don't want no more friends, I got enough male friends, or whatever, like that's a clear sign to be able to say, okay, well, this is not for us, maybe we need to move it on out, because that's not where I'm at. And I agree, I think that is, you have to consistently be or practice intelligence in that, so you don't say, oh, well, all right, well, let me try and dabble a little, because then the next thing you know, there's another baby on the way.
And then you're in it.
Then you're really in it.
Believe it or not, us as brothers up in here,
One or the other.
that's half the time where we be at, and then we put the filling in. And then we ain't getting the same thing coming back, and then we pissed off at them. In actuality, you should be pissed off at yourself.
Or be a combo, to be honest.
So when we look at here, it says instead of indicting the other person for personality flaws or for having the wrong feelings, describe his or her behavior in action thoughts and make action requests. This usually seems less blaming because we don't want to blame the person, and is more likely to give a hint about what your partner might change to make things better. Instead of "you are too sensitive," try I would like you to tell me when you are upset," rather than going out without telling me. Instead of "we never go out anymore because you don't like to do anything," try "I would like to go out to the movies with you at least once every 2 weeks." See, you can bring resolve to the situation, but you have to make the effort. Like you said, you just spent the last few months doing something different. Because remember, if you've been in a relationship with a person for some time, you have conditioned that person. Just like your condition, you have imposed your condition upon another person. So now y'all become acclimated to doing what? To arguing. That's how your dialogue is. So when you try to stop, what happens? They keep on going because they're not going to be on the same page as you at the same time and trying to stop. You've conditioned them to expect that from you. So it's going to be something different. So you're going to be back. What you're actually doing is you're still battling with yourself through the other person because of your influence. So you have to learn to start doing some other things. I look for solutions. Every time I feel myself not liking something about my partner, I look at why I don't like it. I don't look at identify that as being a problem in a relationship. That's one of her flaws. We all have them. That flaw of hers impacts me in a certain way. Not because she's doing it to me, because there's something about that flaw that bothers me. And what I need to do is I need to find a solution within myself. That when that flaw shows up, I need to do something different. So for instance, she likes to chew gum. And what comes along with chewing gum? Crack, crack, crack. Irritates the hell out of me. Who am I to not allow her to enjoy chewing her gum? So I'll find something, put the headphones in my ear. I'll turn the television up a little louder. I'll turn the car radio up a little louder. Why? So I'm not focusing on her flaw. And is it a flaw? Not necessarily. But what I'm saying is, instead of making the person go on a defense because of what they have the right to do, you need to do something, right, to combat what's going on in you. So you don't say or do anything hurtful towards the other person. And this is what it's suggesting here. Instead of saying you are too sensitive, how about I would like, remember, what's my quote? What's my quote?
Teach you about me.
Huh?
What, teach you?
Make every moment.
Teach you.
Make every moment a teach you.
Teach you about me instead of tell you about me.
Every moment a teach you about me moment. Right? Instead of a tell you about you moment. And you got to really, when you're looking at everything that goes on, I want you to look at that. I want you to look at, always remember this, because this is what it's saying. Tell me about, about you. Teach me about you. So when I'm talking to you, I'm going to teach you about me. When you said that to me, when you said that I was acting immature, I became defensive. It's something about being called immature that makes me become defensive. I don't know what it is. So it's really not anything you did, it's mine. So you're taking ownership for it. Because you've identified this issue of yours. This is one of your own flaws. That you become defensive when somebody calls you immature. So what did I just do? I just taught you about me. I didn't tell you about you. I didn't make you feel bad about you. I didn't offend you. I just told you that when you called me immature, I got defensive. Do I have to apologize for it? No. Not necessarily. But I just don't need to offend you. And that's what a lot of our dialogue tends to do. Because our feelings are hurt, we become defensive. And we say things out of our mouth that become offending to the other person. And we really have no resolve, because now you done offended me. Why can't I just tell you I was offended? And that's what we have to learn to do. I think your conversation, right, you were just talking about the conversation not going too well over the phone. Listen, I don't think we should talk about this right now. I'm going to holler at you later, because it's kind of going nowhere. And I'm going to talk to you later. Not offensive, not... Well, see, listen, you gonna lower your voice. You gonna stop talking to me like this. Yo, listen, bam. That's offensive. It's offensive. Whether you felt as though that there was a need to cut the conversation short or not, you have to look at, well, you need to handle it better. They don't need to get better. You need to get better on your end and how you dismiss the conversation. Go ahead, brother.
But also, along those lines, when you do make every moment a teach you about me moment, if that person have a concern or an affection toward you, shouldn't they respect that?
It would be nice if they did.
Oh, glad you said that.
It would, well, because that's my character. It would be nice if people did that. But then this is what you want to be careful of. And that's why I said, that's part of it that goes with that. The mustitises, the can't standitises, the shoulditis. It would be nice if this is what I gave to you of me, you should respect it. Whatever I'm saying or whatever I'm doing, coming from me. It's an expectation. But is it a realistic one?
No.
And that's what we always have to ask ourselves. Are we demanding too much from that other person? Again, are we expecting that person to be like us? It would be nice if people were like me and were respectful when they talk to other people. But it's not always real.
Sometimes it's not realistic.
Yeah, sometimes it's just not realistic. No matter how long we've been together, no matter how much you know about me, don't expect that I'm going to always be respectful towards you. Because you don't know the core of my belief that I'm reaching for at that moment. Even if we come from the same hood. You know, some of us do some stuff in the dark that you think different of them if it's in the light. So you don't always know the core of the person's belief and the value system. Just because we're hanging together don't mean you know everything about it.
Yeah.
So you're clear on that? You want to start looking at how you can say things to the mother of your children, to anybody. Because you have to understand that we're talking about dealing with individuals, period. But there's just more emotions attached to the mothers of our children. Because of that relationship. The failed relationship is the greatest part of it. Then the other part of the dissension has to do with your hopes, dreams, and aspirations of raising your child in the way that you saw it, as you want to raise them. So now you're at odds about that. When you can both still share the same concept of what it is that you desire. And it might be some, little alterations you got to make there, but listen, they're still going to be successful, and that's the goal. Because the child's going to turn around and flag all of y'all and make your own decision anyway. That's what's going to happen. You can send me to medical school if you want. I'm going to come home when I'm about 13. Listen, I want to be an agriculturist. What? I like playing in dirt. You like playing in dirt. I'm trying to get you a desk job. You want to play in dirt, digging dirt and stuff. I don't understand that. I didn't raise my child playing dirt. So I'm not playing in dirt. You understand? So you want to raise a child to be a good person and be able to make their own.
Because we set prehistoric notions for what we feel as though that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
In actuality, they are individuals.
Yeah.
And they're going to formulate and develop their own opinions.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to support.
Yes. Their individualism. How many people have you heard who were forced to be something that they didn't want to, but it was in the family? Like, well, we got a family of cops. All of us is cops. All of us is firemen. All of us are bankers. Look, what's wrong with you? Why is something wrong with you? I've always played in dirt. Didn't you seem nice to be out in the yard digging up worms and all that kind of stuff? I've wondered how come I found a frog in this soil and when I was over here I didn't find it in that kind of soil. There's something different about that soil. That's my interest. I don't want to play football. I want to play golf. But we want them to do and look at decisions that you make. We forget those things sometimes. Same thing you want to understand about the mother. The mother may want the child to do so and so. You want the child to do other than. Now you want to go back and forth about that. Does that make sense? Where's your rationale in that thinking? You just want an opportunity to be involved.
That's it.
Period. And whatever influences you have upon the child, great. The reality of it is, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. No matter how much you spoil me and wine and dine me and buy me all the best toys and put all the Gucci stuff on me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm still going the direction I want to go. Why? Because I developed relationships outside of y'all with my homies. And they influence my behavior just as much as, if not more, than you do. Because that's my man. So we're going to ride off. We're going to Arizona. And my man said he knows where the jobs are in Arizona. It's hot out there. The girls out there. I'm tired of Philly. I'm going to Arizona. 18, I graduated from high school, that's what y'all asked me to do, I'm out. And y'all sitting there like, it was your fault. See, I told you, you was giving that boy. See, we start blaming somebody for why the child made a different decision. You influenced that. Number 6. Here's where the work comes in. Because I remember 2 months ago, I gave out a 2-page document that had, I think, 27 questions on it. And we only got as far as 2 of those questions. I didn't forget about those questions. Number 6 talks about making a specific plan for change. And that's what that 2-page document did. It was helping you to set up a plan of action for change. Because it was making you look at specific areas of your life. And I think where we left off was about the red flags. What red flags did you see prior to getting involved with this person and turned a blind eye to it and got involved anyway? I believe, if memory serves me correctly, that's what those 2 questions were. Very certain. Thank you. All right. So, often we do better at making changes if we sit and plan a strategy of action. Write it down. And I always tell you, that's what I'm always telling you, write it down. You see this? Write it down. Just take it, put it, Reese actually has it as his profile pic on Facebook. But you always have a reference point, something you can look at to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for when you have like little things posted around the house on the mirror, little tags on the wall.
So post-it notes, reminders.
Posty stickies.
Now, it's a little more therapeutic than that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Mantras.
You know, you have those kind of things, so when you're walking throughout your house, you always have something positive to, when you get on, you on that phone, you in the hallway, the cell phone, you turn around, oh, computer error. Okay. Or, oh man, it was severe again. All right. So let me tell you about me. You switch up right in the middle of that interaction. You have to put things around you. You have to make your environment a therapeutic environment for you to change. For you to change. I'm serious. You have to put signs of 8.5. Go to the dollar store, buy an 8.5 by 11 frame. Sit down to your computer and type this out, and put it up on your living room wall. Whatever area that you spend most of your time in, on that telephone, you know, or on a TV, always remembering. And keep that in mind, so when that phone rings, you pick the phone up, what are you looking at? Well, the television is right there. 6 inches under the television is that 8.5 by 11 sign there. That should be part of your plan to change. You have to change your environment. Put other things in your environment that influence you to stay on that path of change. This can be done with or without your partner. Now remember, just because you and the mother are not together as boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever you want to call yourself, what are you today?
Separated. Still yourself.
Just parents.
Your parents. Your parents. So you're still, what? Partners.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Right.
You're still partners. No matter which way you want to put it, you're still partners. So still take this out of the context of boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife and all that, and put it in the context of we're still partners. Because what is the ultimate goal here?
Child living a successful life.
The child living a successful life. What's the ultimate goal here? What's the ultimate goal here?
Child living a successful life.
And then we can go on and on. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So that means that you're going to have to change your dialogue with your mother. In making such a plan, it is important to include specific actions that you, your partner, or both of you are going to take. A timeline for taking such actions, or a commitment to how frequently you will take the actions, and a plan for how and when to check back on the plan to see if it's working, or you need to make adjustments. Now, when you put together your plan, this is the place here that you bring it to see how your plan is working. Remember I said this 2 months ago. Because we're past the stage in this class of hand claps and blaming. We've been in this thing too long. Some of y'all are new, but we've been in this thing too long. Right, Fred? That we should be moving in another direction, a more therapeutic direction. That I want you to come in here, we want you to come in here and gripe, because we need to hear your thinking. Because you need to hear your thinking. But most importantly, if you want to change, if you want to come out of this process, not out of this class, because you can be in this class forever. This is a lifetime commitment. I know where you live. But if you want to come out of the process on the other side, focus specifically on
Being a good parent.
the betterment of the child, being a good parent. We need to see that. You're doing some work. So you got to come in here and do some work. Because we're not going to sit and listen to you every week, just whine and complain. And don't grind you up. Because bottom line is, we already established what the goals are. Why do you keep deviating from the path of change? And you're going to learn why you keep deviating from the path of change. Because it feels uncomfortable. I'm like, why you like me? I'm going to shoot something up. I'm not giving you the keys to the vault. No. That's, what you start going to other stuff is not irrelevant to the fact that I'm a good dude. And she digs me. So part of the checking back is, and this is homework as well. Number 6 is homework. This is homework without you even having to write it down. Just write homework. Right? You need to put together a plan of how you're going to address one of your behaviors, the most pressing, the most persistent one, that's causing the most difficulty in this relationship. And I don't want to hear anything about, well, I want more time. Well, there's something you have to change and improve upon to get more time. It's funny, I just looked at my custody papers yesterday. I was looking for a telephone number to an attorney, and I happened to come across the document. And her and I went in, left the chambers of the court. He said, y'all seem like two reasonable people. Why don't y'all go sit outside the chambers and talk about this? Because you both have legitimate issues. But y'all seem like y'all can work this out without me. We went outside the chambers and we talked for the first time. And all we did was do it together. And I said, well, I don't celebrate holidays. You got holidays. Every other week is good for me because, I do the club thing. I'm still... I go to part of this and part of that. I was involved in some different community activities and things like that. It's cool. So it went from Friday between 5 and 6 to Sunday no later than 8:30. Right? Then it went from a couple days extra. Then it went to whenever you want to stop by, just stop by. Because of things that changed. Her name started with a V, not a B. That was the first thing I needed to learn.
That's true.
No, that's true, man. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wrong is wrong, man. And you need to take ownership for what it is that you're doing. So your plan, you need to come back next week, and your plan needs to be very specific. It tells you that right here. To include specific actions that you are going to take. A timeline. So it means you want to give yourself, okay, what's the day? Today is February 25th?
26.
26th? You want to give yourself to March 26th. So from now to March 26th, you want to take a look at this plan that you have to change this behavior. We gave Fred the plan. We'd have never thought he'd have came in here and start calling his child's mother, his wife, by her name.
Never called her a B though.
No. Never called her B. Called some other grisly things, but we won't go into that. But you listen, you can't just listen. If you're going to change, you can't just keep showing up every week and thinking you're going to have a different outcome in the courts, because the judge has already pegged who you are. You done already figured it out, and you done already fell right and fell right in line with what he said that you are. Because you come in here and you do that. Hey, he's not like you coming in, just like a nut every time. Blame. Listen, they understand psychology as well. And they see whether you're really willing to do anything different. Because if you keep coming in there the same way over and over again, I see you don't want to do nothing different, dude. You haven't brought any resolve within yourself towards her.